And this guy hasn't committed any flashy crimes, but he's taken Stain's ideology to heart.
I don't like this.
Don't just stare. What's your name?
Right now, I'm going by Dabi.
No, I want to know your real name.
I'll tell you when you need to know it.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the
Everybody
procedure,
stay calm.
everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
Wait.
Everybody calm down!
Holy crap, guys. This week's latest chapter for My Hero Academia, chapter 190, entitled The Beginning Of, was a superb chapter from beginning to end. The art looked great, the emotion was brought in this chapter, and we got to see the climactic end to the fight between Endeavor and High End. That extra week-long break that we had for this chapter, I think, was well worth the wait. And I honestly was not expecting for this chapter to come out a day early. It is Thursday, usually comes out on a Friday, but I'll take the surprise because once the spoilers came out for this chapter, I was hyped for what was to come. The content that we got was great, and I just love what Horikoshi has been doing with this arc thus far, and specifically what he has been doing with Endeavor's character. I love the change of focus going away from the students and actually focusing in on our pro heroes. But it's what Horikoshi has been doing with Endeavor's character throughout this arc to where it's showing that his character is not so black and white. Horikoshi is making Endeavor a relatable character, making him seem human, and that his abusiveness is not his only trait to his character. He is just a person that went down the wrong road in life, realized he messed up, he fucked up hard, and now he is trying to repent and make up for those mistakes. But this is believable with the way that Horikoshi is handling Endeavor's character. And Endeavor has great moments throughout this chapter. He has an All Might-like moment where he delivers the final blow on High End. And all I can say is this is going to look beautiful once animated in like season 5 of My Hero Academia. If they do not play Just Another Hero as the OST as he is fighting High End during this section, I think that is a travesty. That music needs to play. I even had that song playing in the background when I read this chapter. I read this chapter and then reread it again with that music, and it fits so well. It just elevates this chapter to a whole other level. But that's not the main thing to get hyped up with chapter 190, because this chapter is hyping up 191 extensively right now, because by the ending of this chapter, we see our heroes of Endeavor and Hawks beaten, bloodied, and broken, and not really being able to go into a next match or a next fight with another villain. But we have player 2 entering the game. Dabi is on scene, and as soon as I saw him pop up, I just immediately heard the Dabi theories rising up again. The Dabi is a Todoroki fan theory that everyone has been speculating about. That is going to be the talk of the town this upcoming week until we get into chapter 191. But I cannot wait for the next chapter. Horikoshi will give us answers, but I don't know if it's going to be the answers that we want them to be. So with all that being said, guys, let's just dive right in and talk about this amazing chapter, because we pick up right where the last chapter left us off with, where we saw a fiery Endeavor now being equipped with fire wings thanks to Hawks' assistance, to where now Endeavor has power and speed on his side, to where he's now able to outmatch and get in close to deliver the final blow on High End. And on the first page of this chapter, we have 3 close-up panel shots on High End, Endeavor, and Hawks. And I really do like these shots because High End just looks shocked out of his mind, to where he just sees the fiery fury that is Endeavor just slowly gaining on him and gaining on him, getting ready just to punch him square in the face. But then we also have the bottom panel basically confirming to us that all of those panels where we saw limbs of High End just getting closer and closer towards Hawks' face, he was trying to deliver a fatal attack on Hawks, but luckily Hawks was able to dodge it. It just grazes the bridge of his nose. His mask just ends up breaking, but Hawks makes it out of this A-okay, and he's okay for the remainder of this chapter. But I really do love how Horikoshi uses the panels on these next 2 pages to lead into one of the 2 brutal punches that Endeavor delivers on High End within this chapter. As we see the punch coming in by Endeavor, we just begin to slowly zoom in on the eye socket of our high-end Nomu, and then we have the frantic dialogue coming in where he's saying stronger, stronger, more, I need more, more, just adding to the frantic nature of this overall situation. But as the muttering and staggering stops, we see something begin to crack. We see the black background begin to shatter and break away, and then we begin to zoom out to this awesome panel of Endeavor punching through High-End's teeth, bursting the inside of his body into flames, and we even see the flames bursting out of the eye sockets of High-End. This is a brutal shot, and I just love the way that it is drawn in that panel. But things are not looking good for High-End within this situation, and he just resorts to his animal instincts at this point. It feels pain, it is flight or fight at this moment, and it is doing everything that it possibly can to get Endeavor off of him within this situation. That way he can kind of regenerate the limbs that are slowly being burned from the inside out. But if you also notice, he also begins to flail and try to attack Hawks, who is somewhere in the background, who's having a hard time flying within this situation because he gave nearly all of his feathers to Endeavor within this moment. And he even points out that most of his feathers have burned up completely at this point, which kind of makes me ask the question on how Hawks' quirk actually works on regenerating his wings. Can he actually grow his wings back, or will they just heal up once they get back to his body? I'm really curious on how his quirk will work in that department. But Endeavor is beginning to realize that his firepower right now is not enough. He needs to use all of his firepower into one big attack in order to bypass and nullify High-End's regenerative ability. Endeavor needs to go beyond, and that is exactly what he does in this chapter. We see Endeavor signal down to Hawks to control his flame wings to bring him up high above the city landscape. That way he can just unleash a powerful fireball of an attack, and you don't have to worry about the civilians down below or damaging any of the buildings around him. Above the city is the safest place to unleash a powerful attack. And once Hawks realizes this is what he needs to do, he obliges, and we just see Endeavor climbing up into the air, going higher and higher, and burning brighter and brighter. But as Endeavor is climbing through the sky, we actually get to see the viewpoint from all of the civilians. They are scared, they are panicking, they see this flame growing higher and brighter in the air, and we see all the news cameras turn in that direction, and then we have this awesome shot, which is drawn so well by Horikoshi, where we see Todoroki, Fuyumi, and Natsu watching this unfold, but it's the dialogue coming from Todoroki that I absolutely love, where he just states, "I am watching." He is answering the statement that Endeavor gave at his pro #1 hero speech, telling everybody just to watch what he does as the #1 pro hero. And within this situation right now, that is exactly what everybody is doing. They are watching their new #1 hero do his job. But now that Endeavor and High-End are high above the city landscape, Endeavor is getting ready to put all or nothing into this last-ditch final attack. And right before he ends up doing so, it's the dialogue that he states as he is about to unleash this attack that I absolutely love, because it really ties this entire chapter together. It's kind of the theme of this chapter, but it's also the theme of this fight that we have been having between Endeavor and High-End, because as Endeavor states to this Nomu, "You are just like me," he's coming to the realization that this is a manifestation of his past self, of the demons of his past. And this is beautifully crafted by Ishida, because in a way, Endeavor needs to fight and defeat his past self in order to move forward and grow as a person. So with all of the development, the build-up, the growth, and peeling back the layers of Endeavor's character and going through this fight with him against High-End, Horikoshi ends up delivering upon us the climactic end of this fight, and he gives Endeavor his plus ultra moment.
Now for a lesson. You may have heard these words before, but I'll teach you what they really mean. Go beyond! Plus!
like a flaming meteor falling down from the heavens, Endeavor just unleashes this gigantic prominence burn, ends up burning high and alive, and they just start plummeting and falling back down to Earth. And we just see a whole bunch of pro heroes running in to try to catch and soften Endeavor's landing. And we just see this gigantic thud come down to the ground where everyone is just watching in silence. The newscopters, the civilians, the Todoroki family. We see Hawks running in to make sure that Endeavor is still alive. And we're all wondering who's going to be standing after the smoke clears. And what we end up seeing is Endeavor standing tall, a little bit flimsy, but he has his right fist up in the air. And I love the fact that Horikoshi did this callback to the All for One and All Might fight, where we had almost the same exact pose coming from All Might, to where he had his left fist up in the air, he went into his muscle form, and we just had everyone chanting, All Might, All Might. That was a great scene to have, and I love the fact that he did a parallel with slight variations in how they are posed. It's really cool to see, because with All Might, he needed to stand proud. But with Endeavor, he just needed to stand and show everyone that he won. And we begin to see the crowd rejoice for Endeavor's victory. They are really relieved with the fact that he was able to come out on top. And then we even get to see All Might's reaction, to where he sits back down on the couch, relieved to see that Endeavor is still alive. But it's the reaction from Todoroki I was honestly not expecting him to have, because as he's being consoled by Aizawa and the other students, he's just kneeling there, kind of praying in a way. You don't really get to see that coming from Shoto Todoroki, but he is just relieved at the fact that his dad is still alive, and also that he was also able to come out on top. I do know that the whole relationship and dynamic between Endeavor and Shoto Todoroki is very complex, and that is an understatement, but at the end of the day, he is his dad, and he does not want to see his dad die this way. Sure, he may hate his guts, but it's still his dad. So I understand how some people might feel like confused about all this, but how would you feel, even though it's like you have mixed feelings about your dad is still your dad. That's at least how I'm viewing that situation, but it's just really nice to see that so many people are now coming to the side of Endeavor, to where they are just happy to see him coming out on top. And I really do like the narration too from the newscaster, where it ends up saying, he's standing tall for his victory. Nay, standing tall for his beginning. But damn, that was a rough start for his first job as the brand new #1 pro hero. And he's walking away from this fight with some significant injuries, because besides the fact that the left side of his face is all cut up, you also notice that his left arm is completely blacked out after that really huge attack he delivered on High End. So he took significant damage. I'm not sure how much of this is going to be healed, but at least he's able to stand there tall and confident with his fist up, knowing that he came out victorious. And this ends up leading us into, I think, one of my funnier moments of this chapter, because I love the banter going back and forth between Hawks and Endeavor, because as we see Hawks just run up to a collapsing Endeavor, he has to point out the obvious as he states, I can't believe you actually used the same pose as All Might. And of course Endeavor has to reply, no, I used the other arm. His was the left. He had to make it just a little bit different, but I just like the fact that we have this banter going back and forth. We see Hawks give Endeavor a towel to put on his face, but I like the fact that Endeavor is realizing that this was a horrible start for his career as the brand new #1 pro hero, and things are kind of looking up at this moment, to where Hawks is relieved that Endeavor was able to come out on top. They might be able to get out of here, go to the hospital, look at those injuries, and maybe get them healed up. But that is not the case, because we have an unexpected visitor enter the scene. Player 2 has entered the battle. Dabi is on scene.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm. Wait. Everybody calm down.
And once I saw Dabi, I could just immediately hear all the Dabi theorists and fanboys screaming at the top of the lungs. It brought a smile to my face, because this means we are about to finally get some answers, maybe an answer to this long floating theory that has been out there for a very long time. And now that season 3 of the anime is here, anime onlys are starting to theorize about this as well. Is Dabi related to Endeavor? Is he a Todoroki? Is he that missing brother that has not shown up yet? I am so excited for next chapter, guys. I think we all are excited for chapter 191, because the hype right now is real. We are about to get some answers, but I'm curious. Is Horikoshi going to give us the answers right away, or is he going to milk it a little bit? Because I would not be too upset though if he decides to milk it, because I want to see how long this can get dragged out as possible. But this just has me very, very excited. But the dialogue we have within this chapter with Dabi is left rather ambiguous, because he is arriving on scene and he kind of confirms that he kind of sent out high end and he was expecting different results, but this went far beyond his expectations. And we see Hawks and Endeavor looking on. They are shocked, but Endeavor kind of has a question mark while Hawks just has exclamation points. But here we have Dabi's dialogue where he states, "But well, let's do things in order. It's nice to meet you, I guess, Endeavor." This dialogue right here can go both ways at this point. Is Dabi implying that they both know each other, that Endeavor knows the true identity of Dabi, that they have met before? Or have they not met at all, and this is the first time Endeavor and Dabi are coming face to face? I'm very curious on how this is going to go in the next chapter, because if Horikoshi just gives us answers right away, this can either prove the theory true or prove the theory wrong. I don't care which way it goes as long as it's interesting and entertaining, and I am really looking forward to the next chapter. But this entire situation for next chapter does not bode well, because our pro heroes right now are not in a good condition to go up against a fresh Dabi. Endeavor is beaten, bloodied, and broken. The left side of his face is shot along with his left arm, and Hawks does not have his wings. His wings got burned up with Endeavor losing them. So how will our pro heroes fare against a Dabi that has not fought yet, that is fresh and is just entering round 2 at this point? This has me very excited. I want chapter 191 right now. So with all of that, guys, that is my review on chapter 190 for My Hero Academia. A fabulous chapter that we got this week, and I definitely want to hear your guys' thoughts, your positive, your negatives, and what are your expectations going into chapter 191? Do you guys support the theory that Dabi is a Todoroki, or are you against the theory that Dabi is a Todoroki? Leave your thoughts down in the comments below, and feel free to follow me on Twitter, guys, because I have a lot of fun talking with you guys about the latest chapters and episodes for My Hero Academia over on Twitter. So a link to my Twitter account can be found in the description down below. Join in on the fun conversation, guys. But that's going to do it for me here. So until next week, when we are all awaiting chapter 191 for My Hero Academia, I'll talk to you guys next time. But do this one for Endeavor. Go beyond plus ultra.